All right. I think live stream is now enabled. Here I have collected a few agenda topics from the community. We have a ongoing release vote for Notation Go v1.3.2. This is a patch release related to a security CV fix. And the second topic is related to our beta 1 release. There are still 3 remaining feature items left in this beta release. We're gonna talk about some open questions and unresolved comments in these 2 pull requests. Do you see anything else that you want to add to today's agenda items?
Hi, Payman. Can we discuss about a proposal for notation local signer?
Yeah, for sure. I can add one more topic for Notation Local Signer plugin. I remember we also have a few GitHub issues related to the local signer plugin proposal. Maybe we can surface those issues together later on.
Sure. Thank you.
Anything else? Victor and Josh?
Okay, I actually sent to you the 6-door thread model. Yeah, I'm not sure this is, I don't have anything to talk about that right now. I'll post it in the channel actually, because I sent it directly to you.
Okay. Have you had the chance to review the Notary Project thread model doc? I believe we discussed a bit and shared the link with you last time.
Yeah. I haven't gone to the details yet, but yeah, look at it briefly.
Okay. Okay, if no anything else, we will start from the first one. By the way, there's a information that there will be a public holiday from May 1st to May 5th in China. I forgot to mention that this is a Chinese public holiday, and I assume folks based in Shanghai will be off during that week. So maybe we will consider skip the meeting in that week, but we will see how many folks from US and from other regions will be there. I will start the discussion in our Slack channel and see whether anybody want to join the meeting. But considering there's a long holiday, we might skip that meeting. Hi, Yi.
Yeah, I have one question. Previously we discussed the new schedule, right? So maybe we can align it on this meeting when we can update the schedule. And we also needed to, we also needed to inform CNCF, right, to update the calendar accordingly.
Yes. In terms of the new schedules, we have 2 series for APAC and also US. My hope is that we can shift to the new series after the public holiday.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. In May, we will use the new schedule, right? So I'm not sure whether other maintainers they are agree on this. I think if we can align this week, because we need to make changes starting from next week, right? So that we can inform the whole community to be aware of this change.
Shui, Josh, Victor, how about you? If we all are good, we will start shift to the new 2 series of the schedule after the public holiday.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Thanks, Josh. Okay, let's move on. The second topic is the ongoing release vote. In our governance doc for the release related process, ideally we want at least 3 approvals from 2 different organizations. So far, I think we still lack of the release approval from AWS. So Josh, would you mind continue following up with maybe Vani or someone else? We have Milind and Pritesh Rakesh Vani in the reviewer list.
I can, yeah. I had thought that I had saw that this had been approved. Maybe I was looking at a different release.
Actually, there are 3 votes for the whole release process, from notation core goal to notation goal, and finally in notation CLI. So maybe you
Gotcha.
only forwarded the notation core goal release vote. That's a dependencies from each other.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I can follow up on that.
Thanks. And I also pinned Vani, and looks like Vani is not quite responsive to this release vote yet. So I think we will need at least Vani's approval on this release vote so that we can move the release process forward. This has been asked by a user, and the user bumped up the dependency in notation CLI, and we upgraded the dependencies in related notation Go libraries. Once we cut the notation Go 1.3.2, we will be continue to cut the notation CLI. Okay, let's move forward. In terms of the notation v2.0 beta 1, we have 3, I think we have 3 remaining issues. The first 2 issues, we have corresponding pull request opening, and there are 2 specification change in notation CLI and also specification repositories. Oh, I mean, for the first and the third one, we have pull requests. The second one, I guess, Patrick, you currently own this issue, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I think is it expected a spec change in the specification repository for this issue?
Yes. It's in progress.
Okay, And for another two, we can take a quick look at those unresolved comments. We can start from the artifact type, which has been opened and discussed quite a while. Let me also paste the link of this spec change pull request in our chat so folks can also continue review this pull request if not yet. So the general background here is that we want to introduce a new property artifact type into this notary project signature spec. This is related to a feature request asked by Harbor registry maintainer. They want to use this artifact type to differentiate different types of the supply chain artifacts. So that is why we want to introduce a new artifact type field in notary project signature specification. And in this pull request, we discussed forward and also backward compatibility considerations and different cases. And so far, I think there are still a few opening questions. There's a comment from Patrick. Do you want to add config field under notary project signature manifest? I modified the original signature manifest diagram, and I thought the config property should be inside of the signature manifest, just like the new screenshot here. Is this the right diagram for the new signature manifest?
Yeah, Freeman, that looks good.
Okay, I will apply this new diagram into the signature specification. I'm looking at your new comment, Patrick. So I think what we will agree on is that for the media type, it is still the required property, and when artifact type does not exist, the value must be the notary project signature value, which is shown here. When artifact type exists, the media type must be empty, right? I think we are almost the same, but you propose a different description. Patrick, do you want to clarify something on your new suggested change?
Sorry, Firman. What do you want to be clarified? I think it's pretty clear, right?
Yeah, it looks like we have our ideas are almost the same, just using the different description for your newly added suggested comment.
So in this spec, I think it's better to use the word must be to set the value as empty when artifact type exists. So it indicates that it's clearly stating that the value must be set to empty.
I see, I see. I agree on this suggested change, and I will incorporate this into my spec.
And so in your original description, it's actually the grammar is not correct either. So could you trigger Copilot PR review in this PR? I guess Copilot reviewer could easily catch this kind of, yeah. Thank you, Freeman.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and this is a typo here. So the Copilot reviewer could easily catch this kind of mistake in the PR.
Okay. I just enabled the Copilot to help me review and capture those typos. I will continue to resolve those new comments after this meeting. But in addition to this, I don't see any further major or controversial point that we will need to be discussing this meeting. I see thumbs up from Patrick. Okay, if no more comments regarding this pull request, we will continue to move forward to the next pull request. Next one is a proposal doc to improve the notation diagnostic experience. Here, Junji asked whether we want to use UTC time as a standard time format. And yes, we will use UTC time for all of the timestamp in the debug logs. There's one question I'm not quite sure is the color-coded style for debug log level. Maybe on Windows terminal, if we have the implementation of the color-coded on log level, it may not be able to reflect on the terminal. So I still remember we had this case in Aura CLI improvement of the debug logs. So maybe Shui or Shui, do you still remember how we gonna handle the case on have colored style for Windows terminal? The context is that we want to make the debug level color coded on terminals for better readability. And Patrick mentioned that maybe this is not feasible for some operating systems such as Windows PowerShell. Oh, looks like Shui is disconnected. Hey, Shui.
I think I just rejoined. Sorry for the network. So basically, what ORAS did is the ORAS write its own text formatter. So with that text formatter, everything shows the same on all OSs.
What do you mean by text formatter? Does it mean ORAS can show the color-coded effect on any kind of operating system?
No. So it's just unify the output so that on Linux or on Windows, they are all just text without any color.
So my question is, if we want to propose the colored format for notation debug logs on whether Windows, Linux, or macOS, is that feasible? This is what I have proposed in my proposal doc.
It's feasible.
Okay, thanks for the confirmation. Patrick, do you have any questions regarding the color-coded effect that we want to propose for the debug log change?
No, Feynman.
Okay.
I think we need to figure out how to do it in our OS.
That's correct. We can do some investigation, and there might be some work that we can reuse from the Aura CLI repository. For Junjie's comment, adding 2 empty lines might be too much. This will extend the length of the log.
Yes, I understand that you want to make the reader more easier to find the log for the request and the response. But if we add 2 empty line between each request and the response, I'm not sure whether it is necessary because maybe one empty line is enough to identify those logs.
This might be some objective opinion. So in my previous investigation and testing, I feel 2 lines makes me feel more easy to differentiate, to distinguish the request and response between different HTTP requests or in the debug logs.
I see.
And in our previous implementation within Auras, we used 2 lines to separate the HTTP request and response.
I don't have very strong idea on it. As long as all the others can agree that I think it's fine. Yeah.
Thanks. Just to double confirm, I think notation does not have no TTY option available for CLI users, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think now we have discussed the major comments from this document. Consider we still have 30 minutes, and there's another topic proposed from Junjie. It's about the notation local signer plugin proposal. So Junjie, would you want to briefly talking about this new plugin, and maybe we can associate this proposal with some of the existing issues, if possible.
Yes. Could you point out any issues related to this topic?
Let me check. And by the way, during the meeting, looks like notation his 4,100 GitHub stars. That's a good milestone.
Wow.
In my memory, I think there's a GitHub encrypted secret support that we used to ask notation to support retrieve the signing key from GitHub encrypted secret. This issue was created in the GitHub Actions initially, because at that time, we want to retrieve the signing key from GitHub encrypted secret. And I think there's another issue is to use notation to sign notation itself. Maybe I can find another issue later on. And Junjie, feel free to share something from your side.
Sure. Let me provide some background information. So nowadays, many open source software community, they likes to publish their binary on their GitHub release asset, and they prefer a tool to generate a signature to ensure the integrity and authenticity for their binaries. So as you can see, there are many community publish their binary with a .seq extension file. That is a signature file. In Notation 2.0.0 Alpha 1, we introduced the blob signing feature, which enable us to sign an arbitrary binary file to generate a .seq file. So that is a good chance for us to propose a solution for notation to sign a GitHub release assets. So I do some investigation and figure out we have 2 issues that need to be figured out. Let me send a link. Feynman, could you open the link?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. In the README, I provide a notation release signing example. There are two issues. The first issue is about the signing part. Notation relies on a plugin to perform the sign operation. Currently, we have Azure Keyboard plugin and AWS Signer plugin. The Azure Keyboard plugin is from Microsoft. AWS Signer is from Amazon. But as a open source software community, they may prefer a vendor neutral way to perform the signing operation. We don't want to rely on each of the vendor. So if we can propose a notation local signer that can solve the issue, and the community can adopt the new local signer to perform the sign operation locally without using any the cloud service from other vendors. And in this local signer plugin, we can introduce a sign capability with a local key file and a local certificates bundle. And it can support self-signed certificate and or a CA issued certificate. The OSS community just need to add the certificate to the repository and add the key and the password of the key to the GitHub action secrets, and the core the notation local plugin in the pipeline to sign the binary before publish it to the released assets. So that is the idea of the local signer plugin. And that is the first issue. The solution is to propose a local signer plugin. The second issue is the verification part of notation. The verification of notation depends on trust store and trust policy. Those two concepts is very advanced. If the customer want to use those two configuration, they need to read a lot of spec about notation before perform a simple verify action. So the need is very simple. They just want to verify a binary with the signature. If we ask the customer to read all of those documents and perform a few commands to set up the trust store and trust policy, it's a little bit hard to use. So what I proposed is a notation blob quick verify command. As you can see here, we have this command, just a single command to perform the verify operation. There are three fields that need to be prepared by the publisher: the certificate URL, certificate SHA-256 fingerprint, and trusted identity. Those three parts can be published by the software publisher, and as a OSS user, they only need to fill in the signature file name and also the signed target file path. So that is all the user need to type in. Just a 2 value for the user and a 3 value for the publisher. And by using this command, we can simply find the verification operation to be a single command, and it's also a stateless command. User don't need other configuration file in the local file system. So I think it's easier to use. Also, it's designed for one-time verification because the customer, the user of OSS software may download many software, and for different software, they just perform one operation is enough to verify the binary. Yeah, so that is my proposal. It's included two things. One is local signer to solve the vendor neutral signing issue. And the second part is a verification. I proposed a blob quick verify command to simplify the verification experience. Yeah. So I proposed this topic in the community meeting to collect any suggestion, idea, your insights on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Junjie. I personally like this idea since we have been waiting for the potential solution quite so long. I still remember this issue was opened almost 1 year ago. This is directly related to the proposal that you just shared. We previously want to use the notation GitHub Actions to sign notation release assets itself. We want to eat our own dog food, but at that time, we don't have the notation blob signing and verification ready. Just share some backgrounds with all of the attendees here. Hey, Yi.
Yeah. So first, thanks, Junjie, for this proposal. I think it's it's very great to see you have this initiative to make this proposal. I have a couple of questions. So first, this is targeting for the GitHub projects, right?
Yes, it's mainly target GitHub projects because the majority of open source software like to publish their binaries on the GitHub release assets. So it's targeted GitHub customer, but it's not limited to GitHub. If we can identify other blob signing scenarios that can also use this tool, we can consider the other customer, but it's mainly for GitHub scenario.
Okay, so we can explore that later. So first, about this plugin name, why it is called the local signer?
Because
yeah.
Because the local signer plugin used a local key and a local password. I'm sorry, local key and the local certificates bundle. The certificate bundle is stored in the local file system, and the key is accessed from the environment variable. It is because we get those get those value from local file system and environment variable, so that is why we call it a local signer. And the local signer can be called in GitHub action workflow, and in the workflow we can get the certificate from the local file system because the certificate can store in the repository, and in the action we can access the file in the repository, and also the key was stored in the GitHub's action secrets and secret in the GitHub action. That's just a proposal. A local signer is just an initial name for it. If we can find a better name, then that is also acceptable.
Yeah, since we can discuss this later. And I have some other questions. And I think for your proposal, it's mainly targeting on the GitHub users. So it's we should have all these commands configurations wrapped in GitHub Actions, right? So the interface is actually the GitHub Actions for user to interact with, right?
It depends on how the customer release their asset. For Golang user, they usually use Go releaser. The Go releaser itself provide a configuration to include a sign operation. So I can provide you an example. If the customer use Go releaser, then the customer need to call notation command in the Go releaser configuration. Yeah.
But that's still a kind of a template that we will provide for users, right?
Yes, as you can see in this .go releaser, the YAML file, we need to add a section for signs. It includes a command, notation command, and arguments for the notation. So in this case, the customer only need to call our existing notation setup action to install notation with the plugin and call notation command directly in the Go releaser to perform the sign operation. So in this case, we can so our current action is enough to satisfy the requirement. But as you mentioned, in other cases, maybe the customer don't want to use the Go releaser. They want to write their release pipeline by themselves. They may need a solution to sign in the workflow. Yeah. In this case, maybe action is useful.
Okay. Yeah, we can discuss this further. I just want to complete my comments first, and I saw Shui's hand up. Damon, can you switch back to the Junjie's this repository? So for the verification, so I'm thinking that whether we need a new command, because if we report in GitHub Action or Go releaser, so maybe we can have all this, in another way, set up for the user in the template so that we don't need to have this command. And another thing is if we have this command for blob, so maybe for container images, we can also have a similar things so that the user do not need to create policy first. They just use the inline policy configuration. I also remember there's some user asking for this, a long time ago, so that this just some thoughts and we can discuss. And another thing is about how user can get this fingerprint and trusted identity, whether there is either way to do that, or we ask the signer, the publisher, to provide this in a kind of a format so that the verifier can easily use it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yi. The first question is about do we need a new command? I want to say for signing part, that is for the open source software publisher. They do the sign operation in their GitHub action or GitHub workflow. For this part, we don't need a new command. We just need the notation blob sign that is exist command for notation 2.0.0. And the new command is for verification part. We do the verification on usually on the user side, the open source software user. They download their binary with the signature and perform the verify operation on their local machine. And so maybe we cannot do the verify in a GitHub action, and it is necessary to run the operation on their local machine. The reason we need this a new command is we want to simplify the verify experience. Without this command, the customer need to first download the certificate, verify the checksum, and add the cert to the trust store and create and add a trust policy and then verify that. It includes about 5 commands. It is hard to use, so by using a single command can simplify the verify experience. So that is why we need this new command. What is your second question?
I mean, so another question is the value for example, for the fingerprint trust identity.
In this document, I provided 2 commands to get the fingerprint. In the verification part, to get the certificate SHA-256 fingerprint, you can just run the OpenSSL command to get your fingerprint, and also to get the trust identity, you can also run this command to get the trust identity.
But this is the problem, right? Verifier may not get this signing certificate, right? How get this?
That is, I think the publisher can provide those value on their website, and so that is a duty of the publisher to provide the value on their website, and the user can directly copy this command and perform the verify operation directly.
Yeah, I think we can discuss details later. And for the quick verify command, if we just extend the current verify command with additional parameter, that will still work, right? So we don't need to have this so-called quick verify.
Maybe it's possible. It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can discuss further. I would like to have Shui's questions.
Yeah, thanks, Yi, and of course, thanks, Jingjie. So I think Yi has already asked a lot of questions that I want to ask. I just want to have some follow-up. The first of all is that I agree that we don't need to have a new command called quick verify. We just need to add some flags to the verify. I think it's good enough. The second thing is that by its nature, it's like the notation tool is so complex to use for verification is that it needs to set up. So to simplify it, it's easy that we just hide all setup steps like you did for the quick verify, that we don't need to set up a trust store, we don't need to set up a trust policy, we just need to add some required elements to it, so we can just run a single command without any setup and it can verify. So I think that's the direction, and currently we don't need that for signing, but we can consider later. But indeed, it's necessary for verification. Yeah, and that's it.
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
Yeah, there are some other. Currently, our trust policy also have some other parameters, for example, related to the verification level, time stamping. We can discuss further. So, and I think overall it's good proposal. We just need to finalize some details and also understand the scenarios. So for example, there's another case that if I do not, for example, I do not use GitHub any GitHub actions or Go release. I just want to, from a publisher or signer, I just want to use a key and a certificate that's generated by any tools, and they are stored on my local file system, and I want to use those keys to sign it. So for this case, it's also can also be covered by the notation local signer, right? This plugin.
Yes, you're right.
Okay. Shui, please.
Yeah. For the flags, we don't necessarily need to convert all config to flags. If those flags can cover a majority of scenarios, like 80% or 90%, then we are good enough. For the left 10% or 20%, we can just direct them to use the traditional operation, that is to create a JSON file and then verify.
The trust policy file?
Yeah. So they can manipulate the config file to say, okay, we need to have the for example revocation, but somehow we just need to log it instead of checking it and do some complex policy configurations.
That would be helpful. As we have last 5 minutes, I want to ask if any feedback or questions from Josh and also Victor regarding the notation local signer plugin and also the proposal itself.
I think the overall push of looking for ways to sort of make verification simpler for users who don't need all the bells and whistles, I think that's a great thing to push for. I think a lot of the other questions that were raised in terms of, does this need to be separate from existing commands and some of the other things, I think those are great things to talk through. But I think this is a good conversation to have, and it's just a question of finding the right way to set it up.
Okay, thanks, Josh. And I see response from Victor. I think this proposal should resolve a couple of existing issues in notation GitHub repository. In addition to this one, sign notation CLI release assets, there's another issue from AWS folks, which is to support signing with local key, if I remember correct. I think this proposal should also resolve that one. Yeah, this one was opened by Ziwen, also an engineer from AWS. But Ziwen was proposing this issue from containerd's perspective, I think. And if you look at the follow-up comments, there are some other requests from the users. And there's one user, the second one, and also last week, we have another user requested for support signing with local private keys. So I think it turns out that this scenario is a highly frequently asked scenario, and the users are looking for this solution for quite well. So far, I think we have 3 issues related to the proposal of the notation local signer plugin. I'm thinking how we can move this plugin forward and make it available for users to have a try. Although we still have some UX related issues and also questions that we will need to align and resolve in notation. Maybe we can start to use the enhancement proposal template to have a proposal doc in the community and also attach these POC in that proposal doc so that we can review the UX, identify the scenarios, and also finalize the command-related design. E?
Yeah, I think we can have a proposal. And one question for this will this be a new repo under Notary project? If we want to do that.
I think we had better to have a new repo for the plugin.
Okay, so this will under the Notary project and it's vendor neutral, right? Yeah, okay.
I'm also thinking maybe we can make this plugin as a default plugin so that users don't need to install an external plugin from the internet in terms of the local key signing scenario, but we can identify the scenarios and also the UX maybe in the enhancement doc.
Hi, Fima. I can provide the proposal PR in the notation repo.
Okay, I think we will also need to start an issue to request a new sub-project under the Notary project organization, right? We need to vote for a new sub-project to host this project.
Yeah, I think we can have this proposal first. And just now we talk about the two scenarios, right? We can also list it there. After we review this proposal and agree on that, we also need to decide some other things such as the name, some other things we can all discuss it through the proposal. So after the proposal is merged, we can start vote for the new repository, and of course we can discuss whether we should include it as a default one or else. So let's start with the proposal first.
Sure, I will prepare the proposal.
Thank you, everyone. I think we are 2 minutes over time. I will share the notes and also recording in the Slack channel. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.